at first, I was just going to talk about what the NCAA president said about the transfer portal. But it's more than that, isn't it? It's certainly more than that right now, because we've also seen some discussions about expansion of the college football playoff. Now, if you guys have been following at home, the College Football Playoff Committee did recently decide to adopt the 5+7 environment. That being, you're going to have 5 auto bids, one for each of the power conferences, the Power Four, and of course, a group of 5 champion. So essentially, the best group of 5 team that wins their conference will get an automatic bid in to the college football playoff, plus 7 at-large bids. Now, I'm not too surprised at that, because when we saw the news of a 12-team playoff at first, we figured that they would eventually move to a 5+7 format, not because of the disillusion of the Pac-12 right now, but also I had a hard time thinking that the College Football Committee would be okay with 2 group of 5 teams automatically getting into the playoff. And no disrespect to the group of 5. There's some quality football being played in the group of 5. But if there's a second group of 5 team that earns the opportunity, they need to earn it, like Cincinnati did back in 2021. Get in there and go undefeated, like a Liberty did. So we had that happen to us. But now the more surprising stuff is they're already discussing expanding the playoff again. So there's been discussions over the past couple of days of the idea of another 2 teams being added to the college football playoff. So instead of having 12 teams in the playoff, you would have 14 teams being included in the playoff instead. If this were to be approved, this is certainly not in stone, but if this were to be approved, it would start in the 2026 season. But it's just blows my mind. It blows my mind completely that we haven't even seen how the 12-team playoff format is going to play out yet. We haven't seen how that's going to have an effect on the regular season, and possibly how conference championships, particularly the teams that lose those conference championships, end up being perceived in this type of playoff format. So we haven't even seen what that's going to do, and they're already talking about moving up to 14 teams, and this is in light of all the conference realignment that's been happening. The SEC is now up to 16 teams. The Big Ten is up to, 18? 18 teams right now. The ACC isn't too far behind. I think they have 16 or 17 teams themselves. Big 12 has 16 as well. So it's an interesting time. It's an interesting time right now. And it goes back to a point that I made in the previous podcast. I'm worried about what's going to happen to these bowl games. I absolutely enjoy bowl season, and I'm sure many of you that are watching it enjoy the bowl season as well, regardless of who ends up playing it. That's college football being played, during the holiday season. Like, who can say no to that? Having that good old time. But we've seen already what the effect is going to have on bowl games when the 4-team playoff is being implemented. We've seen what those opt-outs have done to programs like Florida State being a perfect example. Florida State essentially didn't play any starters, and then we really lost what could have been a really exciting game. It ended up being a bloodbath in favor of Georgia. Not that Georgia didn't have opt-outs either, but Florida State was losing a vast majority of their production. Completely changes the context of the game. It completely changed that. So that's been a problem with a 4-team playoff. And I have a feeling that it's going to get worse as we get into the 12-team playoff. And now we haven't even seen what effects that it had moving into this 14-team playoff. And again, it just goes back to what I was extremely concerned about when we expanded. When is the leadership of college football going to decide what it wants more? because truly feel at this point we can't have a model that has an expanded playoff and has bowl season. And I mean like a comprehensive bowl season. I know other division levels do have bowl games. I know the FCS has the Celebration Bowl. D3 has a couple of bowl games that are being planned as well, but it's not a comprehensive bowl season. They have mainly the playoffs and then maybe like a few bowl games as some side pieces. FBS doesn't have that. The FBS is going to have an extended playoff and they're going to have a comprehensive bowl season to go with it. And it just makes me wonder, when are we going to decide what is going to be more important? If we're going to lean into the college football playoff, let's lean into it completely and adopt a similar system as other FCS team, as the other branches of college football, FCS, D2, D3. If we want to enjoy a comprehensive bowl season, let's work to actually create incentives so that there's less opt-outs, either for NFL reasons or for transfer portal reasons for these bowl games, so that it's a more enjoyable bowl experience for the viewers and for those that have put in that hard work and determination to experience any form of postseason action in the first place. I think, and listen, I know that we're not going to go back. We're not going to shrink the playoff field. It's not going to happen. The cat is out of the bag. We've opened up Pandora's box. I get it. But I think we really need to stop and ask ourselves, it just because maybe more money is being played and maybe more playoff games are being played, is this truly better for the sport? And thinking of what's truly better for the sport of college football, it goes right into my next point that I have,